It's not every day I get to interview someone on stage.
I know.
How are you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good, yeah.
Enjoying the stories tonight?
Fascinating, actually. Almost sitting there in awe of, and I think, God, what a sheltered life I'm living. You know, the compassion and the heartfeltness of these stories are actually quite incredible. So it does make you realise where your spot is in the journey, doesn't it? Yeah.
I agree, it's very moving. It's an odd feeling to come up on stage here and think about anything meaningful to say when it's already been said. And I just want to echo what you're saying. I'm so grateful for the vulnerability and for the sharing of these personal stories tonight. It certainly is a very brave thing to do. But Ovid, we really want to talk to you because the reason we've got Gordon on stage here is because you have had a very specific volunteering experience. Do you want to share in your own free format what that experience was like or how it came about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was quite for some time, I worked in a career that's very self-indulged and very busy. It's in sales. And I was coming from the country, as was mentioned, you always have that sense of community because you live in the country, and I didn't feel I was doing anything. And my wife, am I allowed to say that? Wife,
you are allowed to say that.
Some politically correct way of saying
there
it.
There she is, yeah.
And she runs, obviously, is very involved and does a lot of very community-orientated things. And I just said I want to do something, but I don't have the time. I can't go on committees. I can't do the time to do all that. And a situation arose where a lady contacted her and said, "We need a volunteer that can. My husband's got dementia, and he's dying, and we need a volunteer that can, just sit with him or just have some time with him." And my wife responded, "Yeah, sure, I'm sure we'll be able to get a volunteer." And they said, no. There have to be a specific type of volunteer. He's very well known. He'll be noticed by everyone if he's out in public. And he was actually quite a high profile person. Everyone would have known him. And so it won't be easy. And Kate said, "Well, there's probably only one person I know I think she could throw under the bus for, but there's only one person who she felt that could, take it on. If it didn't work, it didn't work." So I started working with this guy. I started volunteering. It was good for me. Asked me. I thought about it for a lot. I was very, very nervous because I'd never had anything to do with dementia. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what was involved. And of course she said, "Well, just go once and see how it goes." And the first time I went there, I asked him a lot of questions. And by the end of it, he was like that. He was really, really agitated, and I couldn't figure out what he was agitated because you forget. And I sat down and once again did quite a bit of research on it. You can't ask them questions because they know they should be answering it, but they can't. So, and they get frustrated because, and it was such a learning curve. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going on a bit too long about this, but then it progressed. Then I learned not to ask a question, but to give them an answer. Like, it's a beautiful day today. Talk anything simple. And we could communicate. He was communicated without, so he was quite verbal when I first started. And then over the course of 12 months, his health deteriorated. And we learned how to communicate. And in reference to, I'm sure all you guys understand that have way, way, way more experienced in this than I am, that it's that continual, in the later stages, how do I continue the communication? We can't verbalise it. So, and there's one little example I had. I was coming back one day. At that stage, he was completely non-verbal. But he would sit there and he'd talk to me and he'd just put his hand there like that. And it was a communication, thank you for the day. Ultimately he did pass, and I was valued the experience because I learned so much from him, and I learned how to really delve into this whole, someone with, with dementia, and someone that progressively died, and how I had to deal with my own emotions, and how I dealt with my communicating with him, and how we sort of, this amazing guy, we did that journey together.
Can I ask you how you did do that? How did you deal with your own emotions?
Good question. Good question. Because it wasn't my own family, I think I could always keep that no, there's an inevitability about it. And I think I also just, the reward was for me to help him. I didn't want anything, I didn't need any accolades or anything, but for me, I think it was, maybe I might just say I also went back to my country roots where you're dealing with animals dying a lot.
Yes.
So I could just sort of, I guess, put the barrier up, yep, that's sad, move on.
Yeah, get support from your own experiences of being with death and dying, and
Correct.
guessing between the lines to possibly a bit of support from your wife.
A lot.
But I think it's important what you're touching on here, because you are talking about yourself as a human being, not being an expert on dementia, not being an expert on someone else's end of life, and just leaning in there and doing the very best you can, which is really all of what any one of us can do. And you did exactly that, and that was enough. And I can hear in the story how your relationship progressed, and at the end it was a non-verbal, we've got each other, right? So
Yeah, that's very true. And I, the further, I guess as my confidence grew in wanting to know, I wanted to know more, and Kate and I had many question and answer sessions, of which she'd have to probably research to put up with me, but I did, I researched, and I read a lot, and I Dr. Google helped me out a fair bit, just to know what to do, because I wanted to do it properly.
amazing. Is it time for a round of applause for Gordon?
Is that the end?
I'm not sure. Is it the end? Maybe it is. A couple of more minutes we've got.
Righto.
Yes. There was something I had at the top of my tongue there that I wanted to say.
Sorry.
What was it? Did you want to say something?
I can say
Yeah?
something. Yeah, I think one of the things I learned about it was to, shouldn't you give me? I think one of the things I learned about it was I'm hesitant to say don't be afraid of the situation, because mine was so minor compared to all the other speakers. Mine was just helping someone else, but learn. Don't be afraid of wanting to learn, and don't be afraid of, the knowledge is there, the experience is there, and I love this sense of community. Talk to other people. The best way of learning is talk to other people. It might be the guy over the road that you probably haven't spoken to in 3 years, and somehow that conversation turns into, my, uncle had this and I did this, and you learn. It's like anything. Once you're interested in it, you start to learn about it, and suddenly the experiences of other people come to the fore. So look to your community, look to your friend, look to your neighbour, and you might be surprised when they've got the answer.
Beautiful. We should do this more often. We just tag team so well. I can tell you what it was that I had at the tip of my tongue now. It was, what would you say to anyone contemplating supporting someone at the end of life? And I think you pretty much launched into that and shared that without me asking. Isn't that beautiful? But what I also want to acknowledge with this particular type of volunteering at the end of life, where we're asking connectors to be really brave and go out and ask others in the community to support and help, that is it's a big job, and it actually requires us to take care of one another too. So I just wanted to stress that about this program, that I am very passionate about that part, taking care of all the connectors that we're going to have in the community and making sure that we form a really close and intimate relationship where we can share the things that we might struggle with and find hard at times as well. So,
True.
Thank you. Any final words?
No, not for me. I think I've said enough.